I'd like to thank all the servicemen and women and the veterans for the service that they give to us for our great country. I'd like to introduce our flag retirement chairman, a man who has served this country, this state, and this city. He was born and raised here in Spanish Fork. He graduated from Spanish Fork in 1972. Upon graduation, he joined the Utah National Guard, retiring after 35 years, 26 which were active duty. He retired from the Guard with the rank of Master Sergeant. Thank you for your service. He married Mary Ann Johnson, also of Spanish Fork. They are the parents of 4 sons, 13 grandchildren. 3 of Mark's sons followed him into the military. His oldest son, Brady, just retired with 26 years of service. The flag retirement is in its 21st year, and Mark has been involved since its inception. I'd like to personally thank him for his time and turn the remainder of this flag retirement program over to him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Harrison.
Wow, thank you. Wasn't expecting that, but thanks, Steve. And welcome everybody to our great flag retirement ceremony and military salute night. We have got a lot of great people here tonight. I'll take a few moments to introduce them. First of all, I'd like to introduce a good friend and his wife who are here this week tonight as our Grand Marshals, Richard and Annalie Johnson. So if you'll stand up, great couple, great Spanish Fork folks. Thank you so much for all you do in the community, Rick. Thank you. Also our commander of Post 68 of the American Legion. We also got here tonight our mayor and city council, Mayor Steve Layson, council members Chad Argyle, Stacy Beck, Brandon Gordon, Mike Mendenhall, Keir Scobes. Right here. Thank you. We've also got a lot of royalty here with us tonight. Awesome. Thank you for being here. We have got our Spanish Fork City royalty, our Miss Spanish Fork, Morgan Reed, Ashlyn Crockett, first attendant, Brooklyn Harris, second attendant. Right here. Wave, girls. There you go. Thank you. As you know, this is one of the biggest and best rodeos in the United States of America. Look at this facility. Isn't this great? Awesome. We have also some great rodeo queens here tonight. How could you have a rodeo without a queen? So the royalty tonight for our Fiesta Days royalty is our queen, Lindsay Ivy, first attendant, Kylie Taylor, second attendant, Madison Wallace. Also, we've got our Little Miss Spanish Fork queens and her princesses, all these little girls down here. Just look at them. They're just gorgeous. Thank you. Right down here. And last but not least, our own Spanish Fork girl, Tijana Talbot, Miss Utah 2019. Also tonight, you'll see a lot of members in the military here tonight. We have members of the Utah National Guard, Army and Air. We've got Coast Guard. I've seen some Marines here, some Air National Guard. So all these guys in uniform, hey, thank you so much for being here tonight. These guys come every year, our 23rd Army 5-star brass band. We've got these guys, gals back here. They do such a great job. Thank you. First Sergeant Lisa Blaget, Sergeant First Class Ben Jacobson, Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Wichchurch, Sergeant Thomas Gunter, Sergeant Sean Mengen, and Specialist Troy Tuckeray. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. As you can see throughout our crowd tonight, we've got a lot of members of the American Legion here, our commander here, Mr. Johnson, other members from the state, local. Thank you for being here, all of our American Legion, wherever you're at. Thank you. Also, we have Mr. John Duncan and members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars that are here tonight. I think they're right over here. Thank you so much for being here. And also, just all the veterans, all the family members, thank you for your great service to this country. All the veterans that are here tonight, thank you. So at this time, we would ask you to all rise for our national anthem, played by the 23rd Army Brass Band, after which please remain standing for an invocation from Chaplain Timothy Clayson.
The spirit of the veterans and the first responders gathered together this evening, as well as the spirit of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, is best described by the Old Testament prophet Isaiah. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me." Would you please pray with me? Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, in your hands are the living and the dead. We give you thanks for all those, our fallen comrades, who have laid down their lives in the service of our country. May they rest forever in your hands. May the righteous work of seeking justice for the oppressed be rewarded with success, that their sacrifices will not have been in vain. And may those of us left behind never fail to remember the tremendous cost of liberty, which we enjoy, and treasure that freedom which is our gift and our heritage. We pray for those warriors currently downrange and in harm's way. With your help, and when called, those who wear the uniform pledge to deploy, engage, and destroy any who would wish us harm or attempt to take away our freedom. This we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. You can be seated. Thank you. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this is a solemn ceremony that we will be doing this evening. There'll be some times when they'll be watching the scouts and take the flags out. Please remember to show your respect to this great nation, to the great flag that we love so much, and pay it the respect due. Thank you. Special recognition to veterans, past and present, which have served this great country. When you hear your service song, please stand. United States Army. States Marine Corps. United States Navy. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. Thank you. Thank you. You know, these brave men and women who serve this great country that are here with us this night, we have got combat veterans, battle-hardened, who have been, we got a World War II guys here tonight, but we've got Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Iraqi Freedom, Afghanistan. So thank you all. Let's one more big hand for all these brave soldiers and sailors, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. Thank you. We want to also, you know, especially in the National Guard, you look out in the reserves. These are young men and young women who live in our community. They are members of our community. They work here. They have children here. They may be your brothers, your sisters, but most of all, they're employers. Thank you for taking care of these great men and women that are in your employment, but also I want to thank the family members of these great men and women who serve in the military. So this is for you, all the family members. You notice we don't have any concessions tonight, but there are drinking fountains. There are water in the back, but please stay hydrated. Don't get too hot on us. We also recognize members of our community who serve us on a daily basis. These are our police, our fire, our ambulance. I don't know where they're sitting tonight, but I know that some of them are here, but thank you so much for serving this great community of Spanish Fork, Utah. Thank you. Also, I want to recognize all the scouts that are here tonight. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts. Thank you for being here. You are the future of this great nation. Thank you. Now, remember that this is a very solemn assembly, a very solemn ceremony tonight. There'll be a time in our program where I will ask the scouts, their leaders, to exit the stadium. You're going to find the nearest exits, and you're going to form up over by the flagpole. There'll be some military members over there that'll help you get through to get the flags to the service members so that you can help us with the flag retirement. So please do it very quietly, but very swiftly. So you can do that. Thank you. As remember, also that during the ceremony we will be doing a 21-gun salute when we post the colors of the United States of America. I'll try to remember to tell you, but if not, you want to cover your ears. If you've got children, you'll want to cover your children's ears. I've been fortunate enough to be involved with this flag retirement ceremony for many years. I see a lot of friends here, a lot of good faces that have been here for many of our programs, some from the start, some of our American Legion, some of our soldiers who have been here many years to help us out. Thank you so much. This year, I have our keynote speaker tonight is going to be a very good friend of mine, Major Chaplain Timothy Clayson. Tim was born in Payson, Utah, and is the son of Clark and Ruth Clayson. He joined the Utah Army National Guard during his senior year of high school. I think I was his recruiter, and I'm very proud of that because Tim has done some great things in the military. For 19 years, he served as a member of our hometown unit, Battery C, 1st Battalion, 145th Field Artillery. He served as section chief, platoon sergeant, chief of the firing battery. He decided to become an officer and commissioned as a second lieutenant and is currently serving as a chaplain for the 204th Military Enhancement Brigade, Utah National Guard. Shortly after 9/11, Tim served and was mobilized with the 145th in support of Operation Noble Eagle. In 2007, the 145th mobilized in support of Iraqi freedom. He went there. Tim returned home recently from his third deployment, serving in the Middle East with the 65th Field Artillery, or 56 Fires Brigade, in support of Operation Spartan Shield, Enduring Freedom and Inherent Resolve. Tim and his wife, Krista, have been married for 24 years and have 5 children. Tim holds a Master's of Family and Human Development from Utah State University, a Master's of Divinity from Lubbock Christian University. His military awards include the Medal of Merit, the Army Achievement Ribbon with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Army Commendation Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal with the oak leaf cluster, and the Bronze Star. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Timothy Clayson.
Ladies and gentlemen, city officials, first responders, and fellow veterans, it is an honor to stand before you this evening as we pay tribute to our beautiful flag and everything it represents. I want to thank Mark, the committee, the City of Spanish Fork for this ongoing event. It truly is an important anchor for the community. My time in uniform all circles back to Mark Harrison. In a few weeks, it will have been 30 years since our first conversation. At the time, all the thought I put into this decision was the field artillery sounds like a lot of fun, and those boots look really cool. His boots were more shiny than any pair of shoes I'd ever worn to church. After 30 years, my commitment runs a little bit deeper than the boots now. Let me just say that beyond my time as a soldier in Charlie Battery, I have very deep personal and family roots here in Spanish Fork. I really do feel like an adopted son, even though I was born and raised over in Payson. I love this city. Take a look at the diversity of the veterans that you saw stand during that tribute. The precious few still with us tonight that fought in World War II answered the call when the world desperately needed them. With grit and determination and the iron will of a united effort of service members and civilian workers alike, they swiped victory from the jaws of the Axis war machine. But it was a costly victory. Over 400,000 young Americans gave their lives in that conflict. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, fewer than 500,000 remain with us today, and it's estimated that more than 600 die each day. That is some sobering math. Many of the veterans with us tonight served in Korea and Vietnam. I've always been just so proud that my uncle, my mom's big brother, fought in Korea with the artillery battery from Spanish Fork, the same unit that I deployed with twice. Those who served throughout the decades of the Cold War know that with its generalized scope and its largely undefined lines, required our military to stand in a constant state of stress and readiness here at home and all throughout the world, in places like Germany or Korea, or mobilizing and leaving home during the Cuban Missile Crisis, like my father-in-law did with the 116th Engineers, then out of Springville, and now a hometown unit of Spanish Fork, just to name a few. Those of my generation were just out of high school when the veterans of Desert Storm moved quickly to stop the aggression of what truly was the strong upon the weak, showcasing spectacular new technology that we could watch on TV in real time every night, and with astounding speed and skill, they stabilized an entire region of the world by liberating a country from an occupying, ruthless and brutal dictator. So much has been said about all these noble veterans and their remarkable contributions of the past, and rightfully so. But now let me tell you about the soldiers who, as a chaplain, I have the privilege of ministering to today. Who among us could ever forget where we were and what we were doing on September 11th, 2001, when we were viciously and mercilessly attacked on our home soil? For many of us and our families, the very courses of our lives were altered forever. Of the recruits who are now at boot camp right now this summer, many of them were not even born when those events took place. Those who were only 10 years old or so at the time are the warriors who have been doing the heavy lifting over the past several years, fighting and dying to provide the gift of freedom for people they have never met. After nearly 2 decades of war, with fighting as a constant for their entire lives, these young men and women have volunteered to serve, knowing full well the consequences of that decision. That's why I love them so much. While many of their peers are buying into what the so-called experts tell them they should think, these young men and women are sweating and bleeding to protect people they will never know. While others of their generation are hanging out, criticizing, or protesting, these young people are contributing to the bedrock of humanity. While popular culture tends to focus on the negative, while civility has vanished from our public discourse, as evidenced by many of our online conversations or posts or comments, While statesmanship seems to be a lost art, and our legislative process has been reduced to what seems to be nothing more than partisan bickering, party before principle gridlock, and even name-calling. It's young people like these that you see in uniform tonight that are acting like the adults in the room. Well, there's so many who rush to blame America first, but do little else besides sit back and enjoy the warmth of the blanket of freedom that starts here and flows throughout most of the rest of the world. These young warriors who I love have given themselves to something bigger. Placing personal agendas aside, they wake up and work every single day, and they are driven by words like loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The global war on terrorism has been a complex and non-traditional fight, and it has come fixed with a steep price. But speaking as one who has looked our enemies in the eye, speaking as one who has seen for myself in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and in Syria, I can tell you that this is a fight we must continue, and this is a fight we must win. And it's these young people to whom the free world looks to answer the question posed through the Old Testament prophet Isaiah, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And in doing it, these young people hear gunshots and they run towards him. They've answered that call saying, "Here I am. Send me." They've answered with their willingness to swear an oath, pick up a weapon, and take their place on the wall. As we gather tonight, we honor the flag and what it means to us. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and all who provide that for us. Those who serve simply wish to fulfill their duty and obligation and return home to their loved ones to continue their lives. So many, however, didn't make it back, giving up their tomorrows so that we could have our todays. I tell you all of this because of the unique view that I have of the sacrifices which these young people and those who love them make. Far and away, the hardest thing I've done as a chaplain has been to sit with family members who have just been told that their loved one has died. There's no adequate training or preparation to be with a widow or a parent or young children in those first awful hours. It's always gut-wrenching, and it never becomes easy. Those who have died in the service of others have offered a blood sacrifice upon what President Lincoln called the altar of freedom. While statistically very few will be asked to make that sacrifice, all citizens of this great nation can serve others. Everybody. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve." The effort of service to others is the sacrifice that we can place upon the altar of freedom. As a young boy, I faithfully watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I loved his show, and I really felt like I was his neighbor and he was my friend. He was an ordained Presbyterian minister. He championed the cause of quality entertainment for children. He once talked about how the world is a scary place, and that his mother had taught him that when he was scared to, quote, "Look for the helpers. There's always someone who is trying to help." And he found that in his experience, the world was full of doctors and nurses, police and firemen, volunteers, neighbors, and friends who are ready to jump in when things go wrong. Mr. Rogers was right. Friends, the noise of negativity is oppressive and it is distracting, but we can push it out with the good. With effort and intent, light will always overpower dark. We can all be helpers. That's where we can make a difference. Let us all resolve to be better to each other, with more compassion, to treat each other with more kindness, and to lend more helping hands. In closing, the prophet Isaiah saw a day when, quote, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. When nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." As a soldier, as a chaplain, and as a father whose own son will soon be in harm's way, I cling to that belief and I wait on the Lord for that day. But until that day comes, we will continue to look for those who sacrifice themselves for their fellow men. And those that have, I know that they've taken their place in the mansions of the Lord. Thank you for God and country.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are drawn here together in the sight of God to pay our last respects to the symbol of this great nation, America, the land of the free and home of the brave. We gather here to destroy these flags that have been deemed no longer serviceable. It is proclaimed that each of these flags has served well. These flags have inspired those who desire to taste freedom and have represented hope to those oppressed by tyranny and terror. These flags have welcomed any and all in the name of liberty. The American flag flies free in the wind. The American flag flies above all other residential porches, campsites, businesses, corporate offices, hospitals, schools, military and naval bases, government buildings. The American flag is the most displayed and recognized banner in the entire world. These flags serve as a constant reminder to all of us that we live in a country where our freedom has been deeply purchased by blood, sweat, tears, and the ultimate sacrifice. We must not forsake what those in the service of this flag and their families have forfeited for this great nation. I am the flag of the United States of America. Old Glory is my nickname, and I proudly wave on high. Honor me, respect me, and defend me with your lives and with your fortunes. Never let my enemies tear me down from my lofty position, lest I never return. Keep alight the fires of patriotism. Strive earnestly for the spirit of democracy. I shall remain the bulwark of peace and freedom to all mankind. I am the American flag. I have earned the right to be heard. I speak from wisdom of life and love. Look at my face. I have known over 45 presidents. I have traveled far. I have lived long and seen much. I have paid the price for my freedom of speech. I have wrapped my arms around those who have died for me. I am proud of my country. Preserve my dignity and have freedom to choose. To all who see these presents, greetings. Know that these flags have served well and honorably Their stripes and their stars have been loosened to the winds of freedom and have basked in the light of liberty.
Commander! Higher the colors of the United States of America!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're about to witness a ceremony which will live forever in your memories. For before your very eyes, you will see the flag of the United States of America consumed by the flames of our campfire. Your initial reaction may be one of revulsion, the result of recent incidents well covered by the media, whereby radical dissidents, as well as avowed enemies of the United States, have set fire to Old Glory and dragged and kicked it through gutters across the world. This, to all true patriots, is a reprehensible act. Some have recommended that flag burning be outlawed. However, the Congress of the United States in 1942 decreed that the flag, when it is in such a condition that it is no longer a fitting emblem for display, should be destroyed in a dignified way, preferably by burning. Those who have seen the stars and stripes disappear in flames in a setting such as this will never forget the sight. June 14th of each year has been set aside as Flag Day, commemorating the date in 1777 when the Continental Congress, recognizing the banner stitched together by the loving hands of Betsy Ross, resolved that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes of alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. These words, like scintillating stars in the heavens, proclaim to humanity the birth of the first nation on earth dedicated to the personal and religious liberty of mankind. The strength and fortitude, love and loyalty of the American people have been woven into the colors of red, white, and blue. The blue of the Union represents justice, like the eternal blue of the star-filled heavens. The white is for purity, cleanliness of purpose, of word and deed. The red is the red lifeblood of brave men and women ready to die or to worthily live for their country. I am Old Glory. For more than 10 score years, I have been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, I am the symbol of a country that has grown from a little group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. Planted firmly on the high pinnacle of American faith, my gently fluttering folds have proved an inspiration to untold millions. Men and women have followed me into battle with unwavering courage. They've looked upon me as a symbol of national unity. They've prayed that they and their fellow citizens might continue to enjoy the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness which have been granted to every American as the heritage of free men. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privileges bought with the blood of our forefathers, so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in human hearts, I shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. I am Old Glory.
now pay a short moment of silence in respect of those who have paid the ultimate price for this great flag of the United States. Thank you. Retire the flags of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in having our newest flag recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Isn't she wonderful? Thank you. Thank you so much. This is thank you for your reverence during our ceremony. Thanks to our scouts who have helped us tonight. You know, I forgot to recognize some great people that are with us tonight. Great Spanish Fork people. I love our community. I love our country. I love this great community. And all these people in red shirts right over here, Spanish Fork Fiesta Days committee, chairmans, you say whatever, you know, these people are the greatest, so we want to make sure we recognize you all. Thank you. I want to thank a lot of people here tonight. Special thanks to Spanish Fork City, the Fiesta Days committee, Landon and all the folks down here at the rodeo grounds. I'll tell you what, I was here at 8 o'clock this morning and they beat me here. So they did a great job. All the members of the military, I mean, just great. Aren't they awesome? Thank you guys. And gals and just everybody. You know, they're our hometown heroes. They really are. Thank you. We want to thank our 23rd Army Brass Band. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. They're always here for us. Do such a great job. The DAV brought flags. We had a young scout, did an Eagle Scout project here in the community. He placed flag receptors all over. I can't say how much I appreciate this young man. What's his name? Dylan Ottersum. So if you're here, Dylan, stand up, please. Where are you at, Dylan? Thank you. Also, thanks to Sunrock for the sand, Macy's, Barlow Wood, Spanish Fork City personnel. I mean, I just got so many people that did such a great job in helping me here. I'd like to leave you with a little something I've always done for the last however long. A little poem, a little something to remember the flag. Remember me, some call me Old Glory. Others call me the Stars and Stripes. I have been also referred to as the Star-Spangled Banner, but whatever they call me, I am your flag. The flag of the United States of America. There's somewhat that's been bothering me now, and I thought I should bring it up because it's about you and me. I remember a long time ago when a Memorial Day parade where everybody stood at attention, me being a little trooper next to my dad, saluting the flag as it went by. He and others removed their hats, placed their hands over their heart. Remember? And yes, I remember. Oh, I was very proud as you came down that street. There were some soldiers home from the war, and they were standing at attention. Also, other veterans. Now, I may sound a little conceited. Well, I have to be, because I represent the finest nation of the world, the United States of America. Remember, many of you have defended me. I'm the same old flag. I ask nothing more. I ask that when I'm standing in tall places, that you will always remember me. Take a look at our memorial roll at our cemetery. Look at the names of those who never came back. Some of them are your relatives, your friends, your neighbors. Remember? Well, it won't be long and you'll see me coming down the street again. So when you see me, please stand tall, remove your hat, render the proper salute as I wave back to you. My salute to you, I will show you that I also remember. Thank you for being here, taking some time with us this evening. May God bless this great country. May God bless this great community, and may God bless the United States of America and its flag. Thank you.